Oh no, sorry. Tension because U.S. went against their treaty. Their treaty and cross.
Oh, I wrote why.
That's fine. So here's the thing. All like for example, for your test, I'm not gonna have a question that says this exact thing. You're just gonna need to know what the whole of the battle.
I didn't want to start it.
That's fine. All right, what happened in the battle? So, what's it got? General Custer. Custer went.
Did he get custard?
Huh?
Did he get custard?
I wish to attack, but ended up
Custard and mustard and custard.
being surrounded. Okay, and then how it ended. So how did it end? Who was defeated?
U.S.
U.S. was
Terribly.
defeated. Yeah, they were greatly defeated.
Wasn't General Custer the one who was in the net
Not
museum
museum.
too?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, that's where.
Yes,
So can I tell you what I wrote?
Tell me what you wrote.
Okay, I wrote, in 1868, the U.S. government signed a treaty with the Lakota people. A few years later, gold was found in Black Hills. The U.S. states decided they wanted the Black Hills land from the Indians so they could mine. Then the Indians attacked and the battle began. General Custer was killed during the battle.
Yeah, that is a well said summary. All right, so let's look at what is the Trail of Tears? What's that?
Tears is. It's when the U.S. government forced the Native Americans to move from their homelands in the southern U.S. to Indian Territory and Oklahoma.
Yes. So why was the U.S. moving these people out of their homeland?
Because they didn't want them on their land.
So
Yes, they
Because
kept
they
pushing.
want power and
Yeah, they forcibly removed them.
even
So
though the Native Americans were here first.
Wait, but
this is true. Did you need that, Ava?
Yes.
All right, I'll just put that over here to the side. So we
America.
do you have the how it started? Okay, so just put General Custer was surrounded, or was attacking, but was surrounded. Do we think it's right what the U.S. did on the Trail of Tears?
No,
Why?
because they forcefully removed someone that was already there.
Oh. Do you think it would be possible though for America to coexist with the Native Americans?
Yes.
How? And what way? How could this be done right? Like how could
If
we?
the Americans weren't so greedy,
Yeah,
then.
greed is definitely okay. So how could this been done better? Like okay, because I don't think it's wrong that the U.S. went over and said, "Hey, we'd like to live on this land." Yeah, Addison. Are you? Oh, yeah. How could this been done differently?
They could have like split up the land.
Divided it,
they could have just
Even though
let
they
them
did
have
that,
one.
and they still
They don't need
all
less
the
land.
defeated.
No.
U.S. was defeated.
surrounded.
Oh.
Yes, Izzy?
They could have like made the Indians a part of the U.S.
Ah! Yeah, they could have even offered them citizenship, like you get full citizen right and protection. Yeah, Alden?
They could have been like, okay, so we found some gold in your land and we were wondering if we could mine it and
Ah!
you
Well,
get
then they would know
you
about
also-
the gold.
you also get some of the treasure, so you know.
You don't think they would see them mine gold on their
But
own
Americans
land?
didn't want them to have their gold.
Ah! Once again,
And
the greed
then
of
they would
man.
know about the gold and then they would want it.
Yeah, so it was like, we want to keep the, yeah, Kaylee?
Oh. What was the Native American housing?
Oh, I want you guys to take your pencil and do a big X over that. We don't have time, we're not going to do that.
I think everyone should just live underground.
Everyone, what's it?
Just dig a hole and live in a bunker.
I'm with you. Alright,
Shut up, son.
so, we're going to go through these key terms. Oh,
Wait, when the question is, what are Buffalo Soldiers? Isn't that a song?
is it a
Buffalo Soldier,
We're going to find it. Okay.
born in America.
Oh my god. Alright,
Wait, are we doing
It's a song.
which page is that question on? I don't see it.
It's right here. I did a mail service that,
got these. So the Pony Express, we read about this yesterday. What did you need to be like to be on the Pony Express? There was a certain weight, right?
Oh, it was
160 pounds.
And why did you have to be younger?
So you went later.
Yeah, yes.
So you could carry
So you were
a lot more
smaller.
mail.
Is this still?
You could carry
Aye.
a lot more mail at the same time.
Yes. So for the Pony Express, it's a mail service delivered by riders on horses. It would seem to be faster than stage coaches carrying mail. Did this go on for a very long time?
Yes.
Hey, everybody needs to make sure on their notes. So Ava, I would write this down. So Pony Express.
I didn't write exactly
So Jake,
that.
on your key terms, I want you to go to Pony Express.
I wrote it was a mail delivery service that went between Missouri
I
and
what?
California.
That's fine. So I need you to write this definition for Pony Express. All right, and then we've got First Transcontinental Railroad. It was completed in 1869. Central Pacific from San Francisco to Sierra Nevada. Union Pacific begins at Omaha and moves westward. And then,
Wait, what two companies were involved in that?
yes, so let's talk about it. That's a question. All right, so everybody in your books, really quick, go to page 59 in your history books, because that's going to give us the answer when you finish writing this. So when you finish getting these definitions, go to page 59 in your history books, and we're going to look it up.
What is a
Is
buffalo?
your history book under that stack? Uh-huh.
Are we gonna?
Yeah.
Are we gonna learn what buffalo is?
Yes, hold on one second, and I will do it there. But let's go to 59. Logan, do you
Oh,
want to listen? You can look at my book, actually.
The Central Pacific and the Union Pacific.
All right. So we're going to start. Okay, so on 59, page 59. Can somebody read that first paragraph? All right, Kaylee, go ahead.
Wait, on page 58?
59. Page 59,
59.
the top paragraph.
Oh, the building of that railroad had begun in a way on July 1st, 1862, the day Abraham Lincoln signed the Pacific Railroad Act. There was visionaries, people who with clear sight and imagination.
Imagination?
Oh,
Is that what it is? I don't know.
imagination, who had talked even earlier of a railroad to cross the country.
Uh-huh.
Lincoln's Act got it started, but slowly after all, there was a civil war being fought. The country learned of the importance of railroads during that war when armies were moved by train, but a railroad that stretched across the continent that would have to wait until the war was over.
All right, who wants to read the next one? All right, Kirsten, you want to go?
Two companies built the railroad, the Central Pacific and the Union Pacific.
All right, stop. So this is for what, number 3?
Yeah.
So number 3, we have the first answer. Two companies. So you had the Central Pacific.
It literally says it up there, Central Pacific from San Francisco.
Yeah, but there it explains why. Hold on, in 1 second. The Central Pacific and the Union. All right, and then keep reading.
No one knew exactly where they would meet. It became a race, east against west. It was the most important race for those who owned the railroad companies.
Oh, so that just said, okay, so it was the most important race for railroad companies, and now we're about to find out why. All right, keep going. Sorry, I made you lose your spot. Sorry.
It became a race east against west. It was an important race for those who owned the railroad companies. The government was giving
Subsidies.
subsidies for each mile of railroad track that was laid. So of course, each side wanted to lay the most track. Under the best conditions, laying track isn't easy. Conditions were rarely best. Remember, this was frontier land. They were crossing the railroads and had to bring all the supplies with them. If there was an emergency, there was no place to go for help.
Yeah, Eliza?
From what time is our break today?
Oh, I'm thinking 9:25. All right, so 1 and 2. Here's why. So why were they in a rush, Pearson, to build this railroad? Why did each side want to build fast?
They wanted to have it was a race to see who could. It wasn't it kind of like a race to see who would be the main railroad track.
It was for their. So why?
And for the main person to build the rest of the railroad tracks.
Yeah, so it was a race because, but who, they got something. Each time they laid track down, the government gave something.
They gave
Money.
Yeah.
So it was a race because each track laid,
They got money
uh-huh,
to build more track.
yes.
Oh my gosh, my pencil keeps breaking.
So if they had already a lot of track they would have made a lot of money.
Correct, so they're trying to lay as much as they can, plus, if they get the most track, they are able to, like, it's their name on it. Yeah, Eliza?
I don't know if the hose did that.
You what?
I don't know if the hose did that. Can I just check up there?
Yes.
Is that gonna be
Did we not go, it was in our reading.
I have it.
Okay, Sam, what is, why don't you read, so Sam, read the Homestead Act real quick.
For $10, any citizen could have 160 acres of public land.
So for $10, any citizen was given, or
Was
could
given
have 160
acres of land.
acres.
I think we did this one.
Of public
We
land.
did.
What is number 3? What's the question?
So number 3, the question is, who are the 2 companies that were involved with the Transcontinental Railroad, building that across America? And it was the Central Pacific and the Union Pacific, so number 3. And then why? It was a race because each track laid, they would get more money from the government.
What was it? I don't know.
Right here. So for number 3, the 2 companies, number 3, the
I
Central.
don't know what the question was.
So the question,
It's number 3, like on
but
your
she didn't have it. So the question is,
What were the 2 companies involved in building the first transcontinental
Wouldn't it
railroad?
be faster if they worked together?
well, they kind of were. They had to be working together to create this railroad.
Weren't they side by side?
Yeah. Well, no, they were coming at like either odd. So like they were like building, because you have the Union Pacific. Well, I guess not entirely, but they're both laying this track to kind of meet, right? Because the track is going across the U.S. That's transcontinental.
Well,
Like,
why wouldn't they have 2 tracks for 2 trains? Because it looks like they have 2 trains in that picture.
hold on, I gotta.
There's a picture?
Maybe they just separated it.
All right. Let me. What picture are you talking about?
This one. 2 trains on each side.
Oh,
So I thought there would be 2 tracks.
but I don't know
And then they would be.
if that might be just one company.
The United States is
But
always
it looks like
racing
that would be
different
the Union and that would be
So
the.
this is like the notes that you gave us like for the test. I've been actually answering the questions so I can follow. But like, what was that?
Oh, that's what I'm gonna go over in a second on her. Yep. All right.
Do people still use the Transcontinental Railroad?
Do they even have it?
That's a question. We should look. I mean, the question is it sustainable, right? Because our technology is different than it was.
Because now we have like subway.
Yeah.
Miss, wait, on the next page, it looks
Do we even have trains anymore?
Well, that's not necessarily that. They might be where they are. These also could be in the same company. So I don't know.
Branson
All right.
Station.
All right. Some more definitions.
I think I like first train.
Yeah.
All right. We need to make sure we've got these. So here are the key terms. We read these yesterday. And Ava, I can talk to you about this if you didn't get that in a second.
What's
We just gotta keep moving. All right. Ava, how far did you get on that number 3? Did you get the 2 companies? And you got because the government was giving more money? Okay, so the last part to it is why? It's because the government, at every track that was put down, the government gave more money.
All we have is what are gunfire, right? All we don't
For
have.
the question,
Oh, I didn't have that.
What are Buffalo soldiers?
so Buffalo Soldiers, they were, I think the strict term, let me see what it says in Logan's. Because we are so tight for time, okay. Buffalo Soldiers, this was gonna be in our reading, but I don't think we have time to get to it, okay.
Are we even doing Bible today?
We are.
Wait,
Don't you worry, Alden.
for Wild West Day, can we be a Buffalo Soldier?
Maybe.
I'm just gonna wear like a
I'm gonna be a
plaid
cowboy.
shirt or something.
Yeah.
Jean shorts.
Ooh, that's good.
I'm just gonna wear a plaid shirt, flannel shirt, legs and jeans, and
I think we should.
We should play the Buffalo Soldier song.
Ooh. Okay, now right a second, but I like what you're thinking.
I haven't
Hey, on the key terms, what number is Buffalo Soldiers, Kaylee, on the?
5.
Okay.
No, it's not a key term, it's a question.
Alright, So you are you're putting all this down.
Oh.
Because at least you could still study it. Like even if it's on notebook paper.
Are you gonna print one out?
It won't be right now. But if, for example, I would just take it and print that in when you turn these
Can I
notes.
just ask for a picture?
For a picture,
Yeah, like a copy of it.
I mean, you have to write this down either way.
Yeah, for when I do get one.
But what I'm saying is when you do get those notes, like later today, you don't have to copy them onto your notes. Just turn in this notebook paper. Does that make sense? Like,
We're turning this in.
yeah, at the end. So all your notes you turn in, even if it's on notebook paper, because you need to make sure you got all this. So therefore, yeah.
So, six.
That's great. That's great.
Oh, that's not.
That's great.
This is how crazy I am right now.
Oh, so I didn't get any of it.
Oh,
All right.
Wait, I'm not done.
That's fine.
Before my song game, I do need
Is anybody done with these key terms? Just what I'm just.
I'm on the last
I
one.
do
Okay. So here's what you're doing. When you finish this, we're gonna go to the Gaga pit. You'll have some time for break. Listen. When we come back, we're gonna talk about the history test. So do you have that history assessment
Yep,
paper?
yep.
All right, pull that out.
Done.
So you, because Pierce, yeah.
I wrote the answers to all of it on the test.
That's great. I think that's smart. Because we're gonna talk about how you study.
I need those.
Yep.
Participating by participating. Wait, is this the exact same thing as the test?
The assessment, everything that's on there is on the test. It's only what's on
Wait,
there.
so what are the Buffalo Soldiers?
The Buffalo Soldiers. Yes. Oh, can you turn it off? Thank you.